Every morning, on my way to school, I walk past a pond. It's in Xiaoxingwan Parking Harbor in Huizhou, about an hour east of Shenzhen, where my school is. It's not a natural pond. Some developer designed it about 15 years ago when they built the apartment towers around it. It was probably supposed to be one of those beautiful water features in the brochures. It is not beautiful. The water is green, not lake green, algae green, the kind of green you see on swamps that have given up. In summer, the surface gets a film on it that looks like spilled paint. Sometimes there's a smell, sweet at first, then sour, like something organic that's halfway through, decomposing. This is called eutrophication, 富营养化. Too much nitrogen, too much phosphorus, not enough oxygen. The algae explode, the fish die, the smell starts. It is the most common form of water decay in Chinese cities. I have been walking past the pond for 6 years, probably 700 times or even 800. So have my classmates. So have the residents of those apartment towers. So have the cleaning staff, the security guards, and the food delivery riders that's cutting through on their scooters. The pond is 15 meters from a busy shopping street. Hundreds of people walk past it every day and nobody fixes it. Nobody complains and they just walk past. And that's the question that started this whole project. Not how do we fix this problem, not who is responsible, but the question I couldn't stop thinking about was, why do we walk past things that are sick? I want to come back to that pond, but first, I want to tell you something else. The first dying water I remember wasn't actually that pond. It was a small river in Hunan, and that's my hometown. I was visiting my grandfather there for Chunjie when I was a kid. We walked behind his village, and the river was brown and smelled like something that had died upstream. And he pointed at it and said, 这条河小时候是清的. This river was clear when I was a boy. I was small. I didn't understand what he was telling me. It took me years to understand. You don't lose a river at once. You lose it the way you lose a friendship. Slowly, quietly, by not paying attention. I live in Shenzhen now. I go to school here. I built this project here. Shenzhen is one of the most futuristic cities on earth. AI in every coffee shop, drones delivering bubble tea, subway trains that drive themselves. But here's the thing about Shenzhen. Almost nobody who lives here is from here. Look around this room. Most of us are migrants. Our parents come from somewhere else. Our grandparents are still somewhere else. We live in towers and ride the metro. We order on Meituan. But if you ask anyone in this room about water, the first water they will think of is not the Shenzhen Bay. It's a creek behind the grandmother's house. A pond at the edge of a village. A river in Jiangxi, Hunan, Sichuan, Guangxi, where they spent every summer until they were 10. That was the water in our heads. And almost all of it is sicker now than it was when we were kids. So for the last year, I've been thinking about two things at once. The Hunan River, which I can't reach from here, too far, too late, not my problem to fix. And the green pond next to my school, which is right here, and which I walk past every single day, and which nobody is fixing either. So I asked, how would I even know if the pond was getting better or worse? Or staying the same? And it turned out nobody knew. Not the property management, nor the city, not the shopkeepers whose customers walk past it every day. Not because we don't have the science. We've known how to measure water quality for over 100 years. 3 numbers tell you 80% of what you need to know. Temperature, pH, and turbidity, how cloudy the water is. We don't have a science problem. We have an attention problem. Shenzhen has a small number of official water quality monitoring stations. Not enough to cover every creek, every pond, every channel in the city of 70 million people. It is not the government being lazy. Each one of those stations costs hundreds of thousands of yuan to build and maintain. Nobody could afford to put one in my school's pond. Nobody could afford to put one in the canal behind your apartment. So most of our water, the water that flows past where you actually live, every day is invisible. It's not that it's polluted or not polluted. It's that nobody is looking. And here's the line I really want you to remember and take home with you. The water you don't look at disappears. It disappears from your conversations. It disappears from your school field trips. It disappears from your grandmother's stories. And then one day when you walk past it, it's green and it smells. And you don't even know when it happened. Because nobody was watching. So that's the problem. For the last year, I've been building something. Today, as I'm standing here giving this talk, it's not finished yet. Because the most useful thing about a TEDx talk is not when somebody comes in and tell you, okay, look at what I did. It's when somebody comes and tell you that, look what I'm trying to do before I know if it works. This is a 3D model of what I've been designing for the last 6 months. AquaNet, 水眸, the eye of the water. It's a yellow buoy, about $80 in parts, open source. Inside it, an ESP32S3 MCU, a tiny computer the size of the thumb, 3 sensors that read temperature, pH, and turbidity, a solar panel, a Wi-Fi antenna, and a single lithium battery. Every 5 minutes, it wakes up, sticks to the sensors in the water, and texts the readings to a website. This is the website. I built it over the last few months. It has a live map for the buoys. It has a public reports sections called 公众来信, letters from the public, where anyone can write in it and says, the creek behind my house has swum this morning. It has a long-form 团队手记, field dispatches, where I can write up what I'm finding. The website is working right now. You can pull it up on your phone in this room. And in about 25 days, I'm going to put the first buoy in the pond next to my school. Not in the lab, not on the test bench, in the actual green eutrophic pond at Xiaojingwan. By the middle of June, it will be the first buoy in water. If it works, the readings will start showing up on the website. Anybody in this room will be able to look up from their phone whether the pond outside my school is doing better or worse than the day before. Right now, that information does not exist. Nobody has it. Not the property management, not the city, not me. Nobody. By mid-June, the information will exist and it will be public. Let me say the obvious things. It might not work. The pH probe might leak, the solar panel might not generate enough power in winter, the whole buoy might not just tip over in the first heavy rain. The website might get the 5 users and nobody will visit it again. I'm 17 years old. I'm a high school student. I'm not a marine engineer. I'm a kid who got obsessed with the question. So why am I telling you this now? Before I know if it will work. Because citizen science only works if normal people do it. And normal people fail. Normal people fail loudly. Normal people fail in public in the middle of their attempt with their hardware leaking water and their websites crashing on the launch day. If you only ever heard from people who already succeeded, you'll think that you can't try yourself. So I'd rather come here with a half-built thing and an honest plan than wait 2 years and come back with a polished story that quietly leaves out everything that broke. The data buoy collects isn't actually the point. The looking is. When I put that buoy in the pond next month, I'm not just deploying a sensor. I'm asking a question of my whole school. Do you want to know what is this in this water? If the answer is yes, if anyone walks past it, sees the yellow buoy bobbing there, and thinks, oh, somebody is finally washing, then the project worked, regardless of what the pH reading said. The buoy is a Trojan horse. The thing inside it isn't sensors. It's permission. Permission for normal people in a normal city to start caring about water without needing to be scientists or activists or government inspectors. The buoy is just an excuse to start looking. So here's what I'm trying to leave you with. I don't know how to fix the environment. I'm 17. I don't know what I'm doing. But I will tell you what I figured out building this. The crisis isn't ignorance, it's distance. And in Shenzhen, the distance is double. There's obvious distance between us and the institutions that we've outsourced caring to. They can monitor a small number of high priority sites. They can't monitor every pond next to every school. But there's a second distance, and this is the one I think about the most. It's the distance between us and the water we actually grew up next to, 1,000 kilometers back home. We send hongbao home for Chunjie. We WeChat call our grandmas on Sundays. But the river behind her village, nobody is watching it. The whole village is gone on the train to Shenzhen. I can't close that distance. The Hunan River behind my grandfather's village will probably just keep getting worse, and there's nothing I can do about it from here. But I realized I can close the local one. The pond at Salon one is 50 meters from the shopping street. By mid-June, it will have somebody watching it. That somebody is me. And that is whoever pull out their phone next time they walk past and checks their readings and notices that the pH spiked on Tuesday and goes home and tells someone. That's the whole project. The buoys are nice. The website is nice. But none of it matters unless somebody somewhere walks past the sick pond and starts looking. Pick up a body of water near you. Walk past it tomorrow morning. Look at it for 2 minutes. Tell one another person that what you saw. That's it. That's the entire idea. Technology just makes it scale. My grandfather is in his 80s now. The river behind his village is still brown. And we weren't watching. And we didn't save it in time. But there's a pond 50 meters from the shopping street in Salon one. In about 3 weeks, somebody is going to start watching it every 5 minutes for as long as the battery lasts. And maybe in 20 years, when somebody's child walks past that pond on their way to school, there won't be green anymore. Not because the government saved it, but because somebody every morning walked down to it and looked. That somebody can be you. Because the water you don't look at disappears. And whether the water is a brown river behind the grandfather's village, 1,000 kilometers away, or a green pond 50 meters from the shopping street from where you walk every day, it deserves to be seen.